This video is brought to you by Gladiator Concealment and S4 Tactical Gear. Links are in the description box below. What's up, guys? It's Michael and Ryan with AKM Tactical. We appreciate y'all watching. Got a new gun that we want to show y'all. Actually, it's Ryan's gun. It's not our gun, but it's Ryan's gun. We get to, every once in a while, we get to live vicariously through Ryan. Ryan always picks up some really cool guns, so every once in a while, we get to kind of live through him. But I'm not going to take up any more of his time. We're not going to sit here and babble. We're going to cut to the footage of actually showing you what's in the box. So
what's up, guys? Gonna do the unboxing video. So without taking up too much of your time, this is the new CZ P10C. Just got it this weekend. Figure we do a little unboxing and first impressions video for you. This is the brand new CZ, built to directly compete with the Glock 19. It's about the same size. It's got a 15-round magazine. You know, it'll even fit in some Glock 19 holsters. Some of the features we're going to go over. It's got front and rear slide serrations. It's got this real nice texturing on the side of the grip. Very aggressive texturing on the back. Almost to the point of being uncomfortable. I know you've probably seen this on the internet if you've done any kind of research on this gun, is that the front and rear texturing on this gun is very aggressive. It gets into your hand, and you know it's not going anywhere. But I mean, when you get done, there's some serious imprints of this on the back of your hand. So some people like it, some people think it's a little too much. Me personally, just 150 rounds through it. You know, I don't think it's too much. But you know, being a fan of RTF2, you know, it's not going to be everybody's thing. So yeah, there's definitely some solutions for that already. You know, a lot of people putting Talon grips and things on there. So the trigger on this gun was really the selling point. So see, make sure this thing's clear, safety check it. You're probably not going to be able to tell from the video, but I mean, that's a really nice trigger pull, crisp, short, and then the reset on that. Let me see if I can get that in frame. Alright, so if you can see, the reset on that is real short. You know, you get a nice short reset, an audible click, and then that same nice short crisp trigger pull. The weight on this trigger pull is probably comparable to the Glock 19. So I mean, the weight's the same, but it's a more crisp break, and it starts breaking further to the rear, and obviously the reset is a little shorter. So I really like this trigger, maybe more so than the VP9, which says a lot. You know, definitely more than the stock Glock trigger, which is fine. You know, I'm not saying, you know, that you can't shoot well with a stock Glock trigger at all, but you know, this is just a different level. You know, it's pretty nice. Size wise, you know, and this is the big it's the big comparison point that, you know, everybody was excited about from the get-go with this gun, is that you know, if you put these guns together, I mean, they're almost identical. So you can see here the P10C is a little bit longer. There's a little bit more slide, and you get just a little bit more on the bottom of the grip there. In fact, if you compare these guns with the magazines out, it looks like the 19 is a lot shorter. But CZ has kind of built this back strap so that it's almost flush with the back of the magazine here. And so when you actually compare them with the magazines in, I mean, there's almost no difference there. So Carry wise, I mean, it's going to be fairly similar, to the 19. So if you're comfortable carrying the 19, you should be comfortable carrying this. Also here on the table we have the Canik TP9 SF Elite, which is another 15 round gun. Size wise, I mean, these are pretty much just identical. Even the length of the slide. So, just for reference, if you have either one of those guns, this one's going to fall into that same size category. So another thing that CZ has done with this gun is they've went fully ambi on all the controls. You can see they've got a magazine release on the front and the back side. The slide release up here is fully ambi, and you've got these kind of Glock-like takedown levers here. They've done a nice job on the texturing of this gun. We've already talked about the grip, but up here you've kind of got some reference points for your index finger or whatever. Nice little texturing so that you've got that good reference point. The front of the trigger guard also has some texturing to it, so if you're one of those that puts your finger up there or whatever, that might be important to you. The rail on this gun is also very similar to a 19, so if you have a light or a laser or whatever you might want to put on the front of this gun, it's going to fit very similar to what it would on the Glock. So for me, I've got a Surefire XC1 on my personal 19, and I mean, it fits right at home on this P10. So any of your accessories that you like to run, they're gonna work the same if you swap them over, as far as feel and where the switches and everything are, with relation to your grip. So, alright guys, let's just gonna quickly take this down, show you what it's all about on the inside. It's just like taking down a Glock. Safety check it, take the magazine out. You have to pull the trigger, pull the slide a little bit to the rear, pull down on those tabs just like on a Glock. You're going to find your recoil spring assembly, a pretty beefy barrel. I don't know how that's going to come through on camera, but those lugs and that, even the feed ramp, the top locking piece, I mean, that's all a good bit bigger than you're going to find on a 19. That was just an interesting decision that they went with there. Inside, I know it's probably going to be hard to see. It's a little different. So on a 19, you've got a plunger where your firing pin block engages, and so here it's just a little latch that gets moved to the side that allows that the striker to move forward in that chamber. This is, I have a feeling this is part of the reason that they get that short reset, is that instead of coming across that entire firing pin block, that's distance that has to be added to the trigger pull and the reset. The way this works is it just moves this little lever out of the way, and so that's allowed them to get a real short reset on this trigger. If you look in here, this is the slide lock / slide release, whatever you want to call it. It's fully ambi, and unlike some guns that have come out recently with the ambidextrous slide controls, this is also pretty beefy. It's definitely made to be used from either side. It's got a lot of heft to it. And most importantly for the function, there's not a lot of flex in it. So when you push up on the left side, it comes up equally on the right side and vice versa. So it really makes it useful from either side. Like I said, unlike some of the other guns that have come out recently that it's either a piece of sheet metal or little bent piece of steel that it's got a lot of flex to it. I mean, this is a pretty thick part, so also no worries about breaking that. mean, inside you're going to see you know, a very Glock-like trigger mechanism, and then the ambidextrous magazine release in there. As far as the rails go, I mean, they're pretty solid. I'd say they're comparable, maybe, you know, a good bit larger than some of the other striker fired options on the market. You know, whether that's important to you or not, you know, it's whatever. But you know, some people want to see that. So let's put this back together real quick. Yeah. Oh, had it right the first time.
Somebody's busting caps down the road.
I know. So it goes back together just like a Glock. You know, like I said, pretty simple. You know, I think one thing we haven't talked about is the back straps replace. So also, much like a Glock, or you know, this, you know, very similar to the Canic. You know, a lot of the other modern guns. You know, you just drift this pin out, replace the back strap. You know, it comes with two extras and some tools. So you know, you can see this is the large. You know, just for reference, you get a pretty significant little swell there. You know, if you have larger hands, or you know, if that feels better to you. I've actually got the small on there right now. That's what comes on the gun. Feels pretty good. I haven't seen any need to replace it. So the sights on this gun that comes stock, you're gonna have a CZ Shadow 2 rear slide cut and a P07, P09 front sight cut. So there's already sights on the market for this gun. You might have to mix and match, you know, a front sight and a rear sight, but they are available. The stock sights that you get are not night sights, but they're these 3-dot luminescent sights. If you're not familiar with that, it just means that if you've got a light or something, you know, a handheld light, you can charge these up and they'll glow at night. Personally, you know, being a CZ fan, you know, the CZ luminescent sights aren't done very well. I really don't see a point of them being on the pistol. The 3 dots or whatever, you know, it's what people are used to. I'm not crazy about them, but you know, they're fine as far as stock sights go. But the luminescent portion of the sights to me is not a selling point. Like I said, they don't glow very bright. They don't glow for very long. So, you know, take from that whatever you will. The rear sight here has a bit of a ledge to it. So if you wanted to, you could do one-handed manipulations, you know, off of an object or a belt or a boot or whatever you got on. They both have these screws to lock the sight down, and this rear one is driftable either left or right, but not adjustable up or down. So that's something you care about.
All right, guys. So that's the first look at the CZ P10C. I kind of want to give you a few little tidbits of information about what I think of it. First of all, I think that the gun feels great. Like just when you first pick the gun up, it fits your hand really well, and it feels really good. The texturing on the front and back, you know, it is what it is. If it's something that just bothers you, because it's very aggressive. If it's something that bothers you, you could certainly send it off and get it stippled if you're into that.
I mean, they're already making Talon grips for this gun,
yeah.
So I've actually got the rubberized Talon grips on my Glock 19. I'm pretty sure you can already get those for this, so
that might take care of that issue.
Yeah, I mean, that'll go ahead and knock some of the sharpness off the bat, if that's something you're into.
Yep.
You know, or there's been a lot of people who've just, you know, taken some really fine grit sandpaper to the back.
And just kind of worked it over a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be aggressive for some people, and there's going to be people that are, say it's not aggressive enough, but you can always make it duller.
Yep, that's right. That's right. As far as the, I like a gun that's got a real low bore axis. This gun seems to have that. I love the fact that it has like literal, like legit ambi controls. He was talking about how beefy the slide stop or slide release, whatever you want to call it, is. I like that because, like he was saying, you get some that are made out of sheet metal, and that's one thing I like about the Canix is it has full ambi controls as far as the slide release is concerned. It matches on both sides, so it works perfect on either side, and I really like that. Glock has always been the king for a long time, and we still carry our Glocks. We still do. And I haven't found anything to take the place of mine yet, but these guys are really stepping their game up in that they're coming out with these guns that are completely ambidextrous. This thing has everything you want. If it had like a A-class set of sights on it, like it would be good to go straight out of the box.
Oh yeah, and that's probably the only thing I'm going to change about this gun is the sights.
Yeah,
and sights are really a personal preference thing.
Yep.
So when people talk about, well, the Glock comes with garbage sights. Yeah, it comes with garbage sights, but I'm not paying for sights I don't want.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I get the exact set of sights I want.
That's
kind of what I'm going to do to this. So, like I said, I wasn't worried about it coming with those luminescent sights because they're going to get changed out anyway. So,
Yeah, and there's very few guns out there that come factory out of the box like 100% squared away. There's just not very many of them. And to get a gun that's completely ambidextrous, you don't have to change anything, you don't have to fix anything, you don't have to swap anything around. All you have to do is throw the set of sights on that you want. That's hard to beat. What's the price on these?
I think I paid $4.99 for that one, before tax and everything. So right at $5.50 out the door.
So yeah, I mean it's comparable with all your other striker fired, polymer framed handguns out there. The only one that has kind of blew everybody out of the water as far as price is the TP9.
Yeah, and I mean you've seen it with the VP9 and some other guns where the price started out. I paid pretty much MSRP for this. It's going to come down, but the store I went to sells a lot of CZs, and this is only the second one they've ever had come through the door.
Yep.
So I actually snagged it before it hit the shelf. So I just lucked out and walked in at the right time.
Yeah.
And so these are still pretty hard to find, but once they get a little more common, I mean, I can see paying, in the low 400s for one. I wouldn't be surprised if a year from now these are selling for $425.
Yeah, and that'd be a really great price. It's funny. Like this is the first time I've laid hands on it. Well, at the truck, but today's the first day I've laid hands on it. And I was like an advocate. I was going to buy a P07. I had made my mind up I was going to buy a P07. I'm kind of having to go back now on my train of thought because I may end up buying this instead of a P07. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
They've already got some other options coming out on the marketplace. So I've seen a lot of FDE frame P10s. So if that's your thing, there's supposed to be some suppressor ready models coming in the market soon-ish.
Yeah.
The FDEs were supposed to come with night sights, but they're not ready yet. So I think the FDEs now are shipping with these luminescents, but as soon as they get the night sights ready, you'll have that option. And I guess one of the little secrets that isn't really well kept is in the manual, when you do the reading for this gun, there's actually a chart in the manual that shows the P10C and then dimensions and technical specifications for a P10F, which is going to be their full-size 19-round gun, and a P10S, which is going to be a 12-round, more compact gun, if that's what you like to carry. So if you're kind of the mindset of you really like the M&P 9 compact or the FNS 9 compact, they're going to have an option for you that that better fits your carry philosophy.
Yeah, and I think it was a smart move on CZ's part to come out with a 15-round model first. Because a lot of people carry this size gun. So, it caters to a lot more people, in my opinion, than something else. But And
one thing we haven't mentioned is these are actually P07 mags with a
Yeah.
special cut in the front.
I don't know if you can see that, but it has a little cut right here in the front.
Yeah, and that works the ambi slide release.
Yep.
I mean mag release. Sorry about that. So if you've got a P07, these mags are going to work in a P07. The other way around, not so much. You can make the cut yourself, but
I think they're going to start making their mags all.
Yeah, they're all
one same thing.
They're all going to have both of the cuts for them.
Yeah.
Starting, a few months ago. So another good thing about these magazines is that CZ is dropping the price on these mags. So you can get these magazines for $20 something a piece now, I think. So that's a big deal.
That's
especially
a good price.
one of the main attributes about the Glock that a lot of people like is that the magazines are affordable. So you can afford to have a large stock of magazines to go through if they break, or you want to train with a bunch of them. And a lot of companies are kind of getting on board with that, and bringing down the price of their magazines.
It's a smart move.
We'll see. Time will tell. There's a lot more rounds I have to go through this before I'm going to consider carrying it. But so far it looks pretty promising.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I wanna get some rounds through it and see what it's all about myself. It may end up being something that I pick up. But you got anything else, man?
No, that's about it.
Guys, we appreciate y'all watching. You know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the comment section below, or you can always jump over to the Facebook page. We always get into a more in-depth conversation there. We will also provide links to all of our social media outlets and sponsors in the description box below. But anyways, guys, we appreciate y'all watching, and y'all be safe.